Celebrating 30 years of phenomenal trend forecasting, 5 times a week, Monday through Friday. Here's Gerald Celente with today's trends in the news.
Hi, this is Gerald Celente. It's Wednesday, August 10th, 2016, and here are some of today's trends in the news. On the market front, everything is down just a bit. In the equity markets, that is, except Hang Seng's hanging a little higher, and FTSE's up a little bit too, but everything else is down except gold moved up, and oil, phew, what a joke this game is, man. Oil's down 2 to 3%. How come? Well, oil prices fell Wednesday after an unseasonal growth in crude stockpiles offset the second biggest weekly draw in U.S. gasoline this summer. And what else happened? Well, it seems as though Saudi Arabia is pumping at record high levels in July. The dictatorship. Stop with this stupid language. The kingdom. Yeah. You remember the story, right? The princess kissed the frog, and the frog became a king. The kingdom's output reached a record high of 10.67 million barrels per day. So here's the deal. These stockpiles in the States could go up and down a bit. It's not going to make any difference. And the kingdom over there, the murderers in chief, are slaughtering people all over Yemen, given the supplies and money and armaments to overthrow the democratically elected government of Assad, whether or not you like him, according to international observers. When the elections take place, they're never covered in the States. Well, that dictatorship is going to keep pumping more oil, as is everybody else, because they need the money. End of story. And why the market's down across the board? Because it's trend alert, trend alert. Numbers don't lie, the markets do. Gold to glow. Yep. We have it all spelled out. The data's there. It's irrefutable. Will the markets continue to go up? As long as they keep finding schemes to pump them up. But at some day that ends, and then when you look at the other data coming out, trillions of dollars of rich people's wealth is on the sidelines. They don't want to get into these markets. So we say in this trend alert why the markets are going to go down, what's going to bring them down, and why gold is going to go up and where is it going. On to some other economic news. It's making a lot of news. Go back a couple of weeks ago. You saw those shares of Google or Alphabet and Facebook go up on the news of all the advertising that they're selling. And I keep saying to myself, there's no data to support advertising in this medium of the new age of handhelds and digital is really getting people to buy the product. Well, biggest ad buyer rethinks Facebook. Procter & Gamble, the biggest advertising spender in the world, will move away from ads on Facebook that target specific consumers, concluding that the practice has limited effectiveness. This is just the beginning of this. There's going to be new ways to look and new designs to consider in reaching audiences, because this is all built on hype and not fact. P&G could be the bellwether on how consumer good companies and big brands use digital advertising. And it just keeps on going, because you keep putting it together. Facebook fights back against ad blockers. Oh, you don't want to see these ads popping up anymore? Well, they're going to block the ad blockers. Let's see. Facebook, this is a front page story in the New York Times. Facebook takes steps to defeat ad blockers. The system is not working. It's based more on hype than fact. When you see a advertiser like Procter & Gamble who's done their homework pulling back, it's something to consider. And of course, they're waiting now. Tomorrow is going to be a big day in the States over here, and we're going to get more retail numbers. You know, Macy's and the big ones are going to be coming out. Slow down for Burger King. Burger King and Tim Horton owner Restaurant Brands International said revenues unexpectedly fell in the last quarter as sales slowed at existing shops. Consumers have been pulling back from restaurant visits in recent months. Yeah, you know why? Because they don't have any money. And we've been going over all the data from Starbucks to McDonald's to Burger King. People are broke. Easy money driving deals in Hong Kong. They're trying to pump up the market, keep it going. And as Hong Kong home prices climb out of reach for many buyers, developers are rolling out easy money in hopes of winning sales. In a move reminiscent to the United States housing boom a decade ago, Hong Kong builders in recent months have been enticing buyers with mortgage deals covering as much as, you ready for this, 123% of the price of the new homes. Yeah, it's not a bubble. This whole thing is a bubble. Go back to your trend alert. We spell it out, how it's pumped up, this bubble, and what's going to pop it. China chases $13 billion energy deal. The Chinese are buying up around the world. There's no stopping it. It's going to increase. While the United States wages wars, China wages business. State-run Chinese company is pursuing a takeover of a Brazilian electric company in what could be China's biggest investment in South America. The $13 billion deal, the value of which includes the assumption of CPFL's debt, could bring a fresh dose of foreign capital to Brazil. And talking about energy, oil, again, going down, and so are the companies that produce the stuff. Oil field service firm files for Chapter 11, Tusk Energy Services, LLC, filed for Chapter 11 protection. It joins 83 North American oil services companies that have sought court protection since 2015, according to the law firm Haynes and Boone. As the world is changing, as trend forecasters, besides just doing trends in the news, showing where the opportunities are growing, where they're declining, talking about deals, Intel deal shows pull of artificial intelligence. Intel is the latest to join a buying spree fueled by one of the hottest trends in the sector. The chip maker announced it's going to pay an undisclosed amount for Nirvana Systems, a 48-employee company working on semiconductor software and services to exploit a popular artificial intelligence technique called deep learning. Startup, Next VR, nabs $80 million in funding. The syndicate of Asian technology companies and investment funds are pouring money into Next VR that broadcasts events live in virtual reality. A whole new world is developing in front of us. And an interesting question. Remember, an Asian company buying up American companies. There's going to become a point, I don't know when it's going to be, But when will Silicon Valley become the new Rust Belt? Because technology and advancement in science, Americans don't own it. And with this whole new internet world, it's a different mindset, different emotion. And the inventions, the new thoughts, and the new directions could come from anywhere around the world. Matter of fact, here's one right here. Business Day in today's New York Times. Internet's Great Wall, China's efforts to keep foreign tech firms out, handicap its own startups. But for teenagers who like to sing along with Ariana Grande and Flo Rida, musical.ly is a must-have. The app lets users lip sync and dance in their own music videos, boasts 100 million users. So you see where the development is coming from. Water disinfectant is challenged. Ban on chloramine in utility systems is sought in Hannibal, Missouri, and other cities, talking about the dangers in water and how they can cause cancer. Another one came out on Tuesday. Americans may be drinking water with unsafe levels of industrial chemicals, according to a study published Tuesday in the Journal of Environmental Science and Technology Letters. These chemicals, also known as polyfluoroalkyl, or PFASs, have been linked to high cholesterol, obesity, hormone suppression, and even cancer. I'm mentioning this because I keep talking about it. Of all the investment opportunities that I see coming around the world in my lifetime and beyond are going to be in clean food and clean water. They have no idea what this stuff is doing to us. How many people do you know that are dying of cancer or are dead from cancer? And if you're over there in Yemen, how many people do you know that had died yesterday from Saudi-led coalition steps up bombing in Yemen after peace talks collapse? 21 people killed, most of them civilians. Then you go back to yesterday, the news comes out. U.S. dramatically escalates role supporting Saudi Arabia, according to Central Command by the United States. It's refueling operations in Yemen of Saudi planes has increased 60% over the past 6 months. U.S.-sold bombs dropped by U.S.-sold planes, refueled by the Air Force. 1,144 refueling missions for 5,525 warplanes to kill innocent people in a war that the United States is in, that we have no business being in, that all you little cowardly liberals let your Obama get away with. And just to make it a little better, folks, U.S. sells $1.15 billion in arms to Saudis, including over 130 tanks. This is just out today. The Obama administration has announced approval in arms sales to slaughter more people, and no one cares. Keep getting away with murder. And on to the presidential reality show. New flap for Trump over gun comments. Donald Trump confounding the hopes of Republicans who want him to run a more measured presidential campaign. Touched off a firestorm Tuesday with an off-the-cuff remark that critics interpreted as inciting violence against Democratic rival Hillary Clinton. Speaking at a rally, he claims Ms. Clinton as president would undermine gun rights. Under the Second Amendment, Mr. Trump said, if she gets her to pick her judges, nothing you can do, folks. He then added, although the Second Amendment people, maybe there is. I don't know. I watched this. He wasn't saying go get guns and kill her. And that's the insinuation that they're using. And you know I'm no fan of Trump. But I have to tell you, man, the media is going after him. The Republicans don't want him in there. And they're using every little excuse they can to undermine his election. And again, I don't support him. I wouldn't vote for him. On the same token, newly released Clinton emails shed light on relationship between State Department and Clinton Foundation. That's buried in the back. And then they go on to tell you, if you read deep into other information, not the mainstream, the then Secretary of State Hillary Clinton publicly defended an embattled banker during the official visit to Bangladesh while Clinton Foundation officials tried to steer money from an Abu Dhabi oil company into the banker's coffers. A Daily Caller News Foundation investigation traced the convoluted payment by TAQA, formerly known as the Abu Dhabi National Energy Company, to Mohammed Yunus Gharim Bank. Yunus is a longtime friend and Clinton Foundation donor. The oil company deal eventually put as much as $500,000 into Bill Clinton's pockets via speaking fees he got in Scotland. That doesn't make the news. Do you think they pay that fat-mouthed, slimy, lowlife Bill Clinton $500,000 to hear him?
That was bullshit.
It's all he ever does, and you could hear it for free. But when you're on the inside, when you're running dirty deals, and you're a Republican or a Democrat in the USSA, you get a free ride to the top. And we, the little people, pay for it with our money and our lives. This is Gerald Celente, and that's some of today's Trends in the News.